What up, my people, and welcome back to the National Review, powered by Football University. I am your official voice of youth and high school sports, Ricardo. It's FBU National Championship weekend. These are mighty exciting times. We've broken down each bracket. We've gone through 6th grade. We've examined 7th grade, but today is the day that we take a look at the big dogs. Today is the day that we take a look at the best of the best. Today is the day that we take a look at the Elite 8 at the 8th grade division. 8 teams will embark upon their path to Naples. 8 teams will descend upon the beautiful Paradise Coast, and 8 teams have title aspirations, but there can be only one true national champion. Let's begin today's show where last season left off. That, of course, is with defending 8th grade national champs, Team Maryland. So, let me see if I got this straight. Antoine Littleton is gone, and so is Zion Larkins. Christian Taylor not walking through that door, and neither is Jalil Farouk. Many would say that this team is rebuilding. I, though, think that they may be reloading. Perhaps the most important pieces that they do still have are visionary and team director Mike Anderson and leader of young men, the general, Coach Terrence Bird. Joining me now to break down this 8th grade squad and their chances at repeating, Coach Bird. Coach, thank you again for joining the review. Check this out. A lot of people around the nation are speaking about who is no longer on this team. Last weekend, though, you all looked very impressive. It was all about who's here now.
I was actually very pleased with the performance of the team over the weekend. Been in this tournament for a long time, so I always know those first couple of games, the kids have been sitting for, in some cases, for 4 weeks. It's the first time a lot of them are getting together. So you have to use those first couple of games to kind of get the timing and the chemistry down. Not to mention that we were playing in 25 to 30 degree weather, a little chilly out there. So I was pleasantly surprised the way the kids fought through some difficult circumstances and got the wins out.
There was a ton of passion associated with that matchup. Were you impressed by the way that your team was able to focus and just concentrate on the game?
I really thought that it meant a lot to the overall team and to each and every one of them individually as they develop as young men to control their emotions, learn to not get caught up in the things that are going on the outside and focus in and take care of the business at hand. I'll just say in short that we've always had a bigger focus, not just winning in the regions, but, trying to take it on to the remainder of the national tournament. So our whole teaching moment for the boys were, this is business, and at the end of the day, we're going to leave Maryland, we're going to have to go play some other states, and there's going to be distractions when we go there. So let's learn here in our own backyard to kind of have some tunnel vision and focus on the task at hand.
Now, I would begin to ask you about your X factors, about your key players, brother, but you got so many weapons out there, and I only have a limited amount of time. Is there one student athlete in particular, though, maybe a position or skill set that really greases the wheels and makes this whole machine go?
So many big performances over the weekend. I would say, you gotta mention, Teron Kelman, certainly, because we faced 8-man box all weekend, and when he's commanding that type of attention, it frees the game up for everybody else around him. So, thought he was a big piece of what we were able to do throughout the weekend.
You begin with a fast, tough Orange County team. Talk to me about that game and you all's entire path down in Naples.
We never faced California before, so we're looking forward to it. We got Orange County on opening day.
Coach, again, you all do have naysayers out there, some individuals that don't believe that you can do it again. I mean, it is very difficult to win a national championship 2 years in a row. What are your thoughts on repeating?
I think we got a real tough road because waiting for us to the Orange County game is Georgia and Dallas. I mean, a real tough. Dallas was in the championship last year, and GFL is a long time rival for Maryland. I mean, we've had some of the most difficult games in the history of the tournament. That's a tough track to get back to the national championship, but focusing on Orange County first, they're traditionally a very well-coached finesse spread passing attack. So in order to get through round one, we're going to have to be able to play well on the secondary. You know, if I had to bet on any area of our team, you know, it's always going to be on our secondary because Coach Donald Cox and Coach Miller are two of the best DBs in the country. I'm blessed to have on my staff. So those boys tend to play well on the back end of the defense.
There it is. You heard it here first. Coach Terrence Bird, Team Maryland, looking to repeat, but first, looking to get past OC. Thank you very much for joining the show, bro.
I appreciate you, Chief. I look forward to seeing you down in Naples.
You know it. My dude, Terrence Bird, head coach of defending 8th grade champs, Team Maryland. Shout out to my dude, Mike Anderson. Last year, Team Maryland had to knock off a very sound Team Seattle in order to win that crown, but don't get it twisted. Seattle actually had them on the ropes early, and this year, they're back better than ever and ready to compete for that crown. Joining me now, my guy, Coach Robert Mason. Coach, 2 big W's last weekend, including a big one over a very good Bay Area Metro squad. What are your thoughts on where you all are right now?
Thoughts on the weekend on the 8th grade. You know what? For Team Seattle, we have a theme. It's 3 teams, 1 family. And the 8th grade is the big brothers of our Team Seattle organization and always have been. And I got to tell you, Chad, at the end of the day, our 8th grade is living up to that title as the big brothers. They went down to Sacramento and was able to take care of business. Just a team with great size, great athleticism, with huge upgrades from the previous year.
Now, I know how much you all value the big fellas up front, and I love that about you. How did they play last game, and who else is going to help you all along your path to Naples?
You know what? I'll go down the list. Again, you know what? I said it in the previous talks that we had. Game is won and lost in the trenches. And I'll start with the O-line. My treacherous 5. These guys are quick. They're fast. They're mobile, and they're all about chip on their shoulder. So, you know what? Our O-line did a phenomenal job, who's coached by Anthony Fuertes. He's been with us the last 7 years, and these guys are just amazing. They were a huge piece to our success this past weekend. So you got Dave Uli, who you mentioned in the pregame show, anchoring the tackle. You got the Hill twins, Hunter and Curtis, who did a phenomenal job at the guard positions. Tyler Lawrence and Henry Delnibel, who took care of the center positions. And then we had Big Oa, and Peter on the right side of the tackle. They're just all about executing, and they want to make themselves, their coach, and the team happy, and they did that. I'll transition over to the D-line, because like I said before, defense wins championships. Coach Ari's done a phenomenal job with the D-line. We got some really athletic kids on the D-line that can move. So we got, Austin Terry from down in Tumwater. Hunter Misa from Tacoma, who you covered, was unstoppable. He had to have at least 5+ sacks over the weekend. Zach Summers out of Olympia. He's not huge in height, but he's fast and strong. And then we got Peter T out of Puyallup, who is just number 99. Gonna certain centers just, thinking about him in their nightmares. And a couple of other guys to finish out with. I could go on, but we had 2 running backs that just did an amazing job over this weekend. Marcus McCraney, this is his 3rd year, and a new addition, DeAndre Napier. Combined, those kids both had well over 300 yards rushing each. And then lastly, but not least, our middle linebacker, Zach Brown, just wreaked havoc all over the field. Interception, putting us in great field position, and just really led his defense, to the wins. Along with that, everybody else contributed and did their part. I was very proud of that team.
Now, it's no question that you all have title aspirations. You didn't come all the way to Naples to take 2nd place. First up, though, you got a good game against a game Indiana squad. What are your thoughts about this matchup? What are your thoughts about finishing some unsettled business?
One game at a time. Well, first and foremost, respect to Indiana. We're going to start with them. So Coach Anthony and I and Coach Raheem, we have a little bit of history with Indiana. Back in 2013, I believe, when we were in Texas, Indiana stopped us from going to the National Championship. They knocked us out of the semifinals. So I got to tell you, A little bit of chip on our shoulder there, and we're looking to settle that score with Indiana. Our teams beat Indiana a couple years ago with this actual squad, but the coaches themselves are looking to get a little bit of redemption. As far as going into the next round, we're going to take it game by game. We never want to put the cart before the horse. I'm very superstitious, so the only team I can really speak to right now is Indiana. And then as we move forward, I'll be able to give some feedback. But the overall goal, Chad, is to be back into the national championship game and bring that trophy back to the West Coast where it's never been.
And what was that you told me before? The separation is in the preparation?
Hey, Russell Wilson, separation is in the preparation. And you know what? That's what we're all about. The 12s here in Seattle.
My man. Coach, thank you very much, and I wish you nothing but success down there in Naples.
Well, I appreciate you and everything that you're doing for the tournament and these kids. Thank you, brother.
My main man, Coach Robert Mason. I tell you, bro, this Team Seattle squad is strong all across the board. So is, though, their opponent, Team Indiana. We're going to check in with them next, and we're headed down to the Dirty. That's where GFL play. It's the review.
1, 2, 3, FBU! I want to find out how good I am. Yes, sir! If you relax, you get blown out. Let's get it done! Let's get it done!
What can you take advantage of right now?
Again, come on. I can push myself way beyond what you think.
Pressure technique. Bring it back.
When people in the know talk about big-time football, they often speak of Florida, they often speak of California, and nowadays, some people even mention the tiny old state of Maryland. But those that really know the game, I'm talking about really know the game, associate big-time football with Texas and Georgia. Dallas and GFL are set to renew their storied and fierce rivalry. Dallas has their eyes legitimately set at potentially bringing home 3 crowns back to the United States of Texas as they bring a 6th grade, a 7th grade, and perhaps most importantly, an 8th grade team all down to Naples. This Dallas squad is so potent, they're so focused right now that they won't even return your boys' calls, but I know. We'll get an interview once we get down on the beach. GFL though, this is a team that is no stranger to facing and overcoming stiff competition. They've got championship pedigree, and joining me now, the legendary Coach Ken Burge. Thank you for joining the review, bro. Coach, we'll get you started right here. In your regional, you were able to knock off Team Kentucky in order to advance. We'll get to that in a minute. What I want to speak about though is that epic matchup that you had with South Atlanta. Many called that an instant classic. Shout out Eric Richards.
South Atlanta's always got great athletes. We knew going in that was going to be a tough first round game for us. Their second game, so that made it even more nerve-wracking for me because I knew they had a game under their belt. We didn't scrimmage anybody or anything, so that first game's always very important to me because you get through it, everybody realizes how good they play together, and then second round game usually gets a little better, and then you get better and better as it goes along.
And you all did get better. Speak to me now in specific about that second game against Kentucky.
I just thought we came out, played physical. We were sort of worried about the way we played the first game, but that was just a tribute to how good South Atlanta was because I understood they had a great game. The next day with some of their kids missing, they still won. You know, my coaches were like, I hope we're better tomorrow. I said, we will be. We always are. And that's what I just think we came out fast and physical and got after them quick. And once we got up on them, it sort of snowballed on them. Thought we played very fast and physical, and that's the way I like to play.
And as I alluded to, Coach, your next matchup is big time. It's against Dallas. Everybody around the nation is looking forward to it. What are your thoughts on that game?
You know, you really don't know. It's always a different group every year, but I know this team did finish second in the tournament last year as 7th graders. You know, and I know they'll be much different this year for what they had last year. So what it'll just depend on is our next 2 weeks of practice and how much better we get there.
and then get down there and not let the big stage get to us. But I feel good with this group. You know, it's just a matter of playing with that same fast physical nature and going up against a real good Dallas team that's probably better than they were last year, I'm sure.
I get you out of here on this, Coach. You, sir, no stranger to champions. You know a winner when you see one. This GFL squad, do you all have what it takes to win the FBU National Championship tournament?
I do. I feel like, you know, they play well together. They're unselfish. I always tell them the first practice, it's not about who carries it, who tackles it, who throws it, or who catches it. It's about a team effort, and I think this team really believes in that. They like each other. I think now with social media, these kids know each other before they ever come together as a team. And then some of them have played together. This is their third year with FBU, so they've known who they're going to be playing with.
All right. Well, Coach, I definitely wish you all the utmost of success down in Naples, and you all have safe travels.
Okay. Thanks, sir.
Coach Ken Burge, the legend himself. That young man is a class act. I appreciate you for stopping by the review, sir. You want to speak about teams that were impressive in their regionals? I'm going to raise you Team Indiana. Their team director, Miles Hartwick, comes on now. Coach, thank you, sir, for joining the review. 36-7, 34-0. What were your thoughts on this Team Indiana's regionals?
Well, I tell you what, the competition was great. It made the long drive worthwhile. Our boys have been together for a little while now. We developed a really good bond, and it was fun to go out and see the boys go out there and compete, and be able to make a return trip down to Naples.
Now listen, I don't even know whether I'm supposed to discuss this with you or not, but Lee Becton, he's a Midwest Player Development Director, former Notre Dame Fighting Irish star. Lee Becton promised me that South Dakota was going to eliminate you all. Obviously that didn't happen. How's it feel for you to kind of give it to Lee Becton there?
Both opponents were certainly presented different obstacles, and neither was easy, but each one presented some different challenges, and it was fun to watch the boys go out and compete and come out on top.
We've already had an opportunity to take a look at some of you all's potential X factors on one of our previous shows last weekend. Which of those young men or whom else really showed out for Team Indiana?
Our defense did a fantastic job throughout the weekend. They overall gave up 1 touchdown for 2 games, and it obviously makes the job easier on offense when the defense is only giving up 1 score. But Danny Narocha did a phenomenal job for us on the defensive line. He's got a huge motor, and he's really hard to block. And so he was providing constant pressure against the pass, and he's very formidable against the run. And then we've got a linebacker, Weston Pemberton, that did a great job throughout the weekend as well, particularly in the game against Kansas City. Really has a lot of big plays out there. Those two really did a phenomenal job, as well as everybody who chipped in on defense. We made some changes for our defense for the game against Kansas City because they were running a little bit more of a old school wing tee that we were expecting to see. So we went a little bit more run heavy, and they all accepted the challenge and stepped up and did a phenomenal job.
Listen, bro, you all have been dominant. You've been so impressive. I'm running out of adjectives to describe just how good Team Indiana has been. Your reward is, you see Eric Richards, he's in a room, he's doing the draw, and he draws the egg, and you get Team Seattle. What are your thoughts on your upcoming matchup with Team Seattle, and does Indiana have what it takes to not only beat them, but really make a run for this?
Well, this will be our 3rd trip down to Florida, and this will actually be our 3rd time we've played Seattle. The 2nd time with this group. The coaches and I, we're with another group that we were down there with the previous year. But Seattle, we played them 2 years ago in a consolation game in 6th grade, and it was a fun game. They're certainly very big. They're strong, they're fast. I hope my guys just don't get scared and want to stay home in the pool. But at the end of the day, I'm confident that we'll go out and compete. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know their crowd gets fired up, and that always makes things a little bit more fun to hearing the fans get into it and things like that. But I certainly respect the heck out of them. And, like I said, it's going to be a fun game. There's no doubt about it.
Coach, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the best of, we won't call it luck, I wish you all success down in Naples.
Well, Chad, thank you so much. You are the main man with this stuff, and you're doing a great job. Thank you for all you're doing for the tournament, and we look forward to seeing you down in Florida.
My main man, Miles Hartwig, thank you very much again for stopping by the review, bro. Coming up, we are just getting warmed up. Freddie Ortega is going to join us from the OC, and then I know what you're waiting for. 305, Dade. We take it to the house.
Dave Diaz-Infante, offensive line coach, FBU. San Diego Chargers, Philadelphia Eagles, and Denver Broncos, two-time Super Bowl champion. FBU is for the players that want to be the best. It's for the best, being trained by the best. It's the best thing you could ever do. It's the FBU experience.
8th grade FBU National Championship Tournament. This is the path to Naples, where there can be only one true national champion. Team Maryland has their eyes set on a repeat. We spoke about that a little earlier, but in order to even sniff that championship game, they first had to get past a very strong team, Orange County. My very good friend Freddie Ortega joining me now. We've spoken so frequently recently, we're basically besties. Coach, amazing and definitive victory over LA Central at the 8th grade level. What are your thoughts on that game and on this team?
You look on paper, they match really well. I mean, the size was there on both teams. I think what the difference is we have depth in Orange County, and I think that's huge, you know, especially in a tournament where you're going to play games back to back. Having the guys that are going to give you that longevity, you know, is huge. So being able to have a great rotation on defense and on offense as well, not to mention some of the stellar athletes that came out of that game from LA. I mean, we had Quincy Craig. I mean, they just sent me that UTR, and I'm excited to go and watch it. I'm talking about if you can keep a stat on how many tackles you break. I mean, that'd be his top stat. So I was excited about when we faced LA Central. He was just amazing. And as well as quarterback play, I mean, the quarterbacks have been great this tournament for us. We have Parker Awad at the helm. So we're excited. We definitely have a couple players that need the opportunity to stand out.
Of course, QB play is always important. Who else really stood out for you?
The whole defense. I mean, that defense was on fire. From our linebackers to our defensive line. We have a great core of linemen. I have a gentleman named Steven, great guy. You know, we have a couple players that actually drive about 2 to 3 hours a day just to get to where we're at. Houston Thomas, our running back, excited about how he can get to that edge. You know, and line play is obviously going to be very important in this tournament. So I definitely want to highlight not much as individuals, but the whole group itself.
And now when you get down to Naples, here's what you got in front of you. Defending national champs Team Maryland. I know that you believe. What message do you have for your student athletes? How do you get beyond them? How does this Orange County squad defend for an 8th grade FBU National Championship?
For us, that's exciting. If you can get some of these signature wins, that's part of what we're trying to accomplish. We're going to have to face any one of these teams, and if we can get that first win, a win over a team like Maryland, that'd be huge. And with respect to them, obviously having a great program, but we're able to create some momentum from a signature win like that and take over a game like that against a powerhouse like Maryland. And if you can take down a team like that, then that's the momentum we need. And the sky's the limit.
Coach, thank you very much for joining the show, brother, and I wish you all nothing but success on the path to Naples.
Chad, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for having me. I very appreciate it.
That's my guy right there. I appreciate you, Coach. So, Team Rhode Island. Many thought that they would not advance beyond the first round. I mean, let's be honest, there were a lot of people that were firmly on the Team New Jersey train, and for very good reason. That team has some absolute stallions. Not only was Rhode Island able to knock off Team New Jersey, but then they took out Connecticut as well, and they have made their path down to Naples. A ton of impressive student athletes on this squad have been able to make faith with a few of the parents, so I look forward to seeing you all down in Naples, and we'll be sure to get some interviews with you. Your opponent down in Naples, though, is none other than these young men from Dade. They are the favorites to many around the nation, and a lot of people expect for these young men from the 305 to take it to the house. Shout out Trick Daddy, you see what I did? Okay. Stepping up to the review right now, the immortal one, my main man, Coach Travis Thomas. Coach, many would say that we saved the best for last. I mean, you all had an epic weekend. You sent home my people from Panama City. You sent home my people from Tampa. Tell me about it.
The game against Panama City, we saw them the weekend before in the playing games, and they have a lot of their size is very impressive, and they're a big, strong team. And we knew we would have to dig down deep and really rely on our athleticism in that game. That game, you know, we had a definite speed advantage, but our defense, I can't give enough credit to Coach Freddie Thornton. He has that defense hit on all cylinders. That team is comfortable, they're very physical, and that really, I think, that caught Panama City off guard, because there's one thing to watch a team, but you just can't measure the level of physicality that Dade County team brings once they line it up on defense.
Team up rock star student athletes out there. I know that you told me before that sometimes people come to film you all's practices. Who balled out for you on that 8th grade level?
We have Jockey's right. He's from the Miami Gardens Bulldogs. He also has his teammate, Jay Celestine. He goes by the name of G7. He's an FBU veteran. He was at a 7th grade assistant right up there left off. You also have Teron Dixon and Taiwan McLeod. They're Teron Dixon, he's a two-time FBU champion and a quarterback, and Taiwan McLeod as linebacker. Those are great additions that they're veterans. Those guys are veterans, so they know what it takes to win in this tournament. You also have Gerard Cameron, excellent cornerback. This guy, he got us out there last week against Sarasota, and he's a guy, he's going to be a big name to look forward to in the future.
You've got Rhode Island first, and then I know you don't want to look forward, but after Rhode Island looms a potential matchup with Team Seattle. Give me your thoughts on those two squads.
Excellent. I heard he put up big numbers in the last couple of seasons. I have to figure out the neutralize his running style. But I think the speed of South defenders, that's going to present problems for these guys. They haven't seen anywhere in their tenure doing FBU. And Seattle, well, I don't want to look past anyone, but I got a chance to look at Seattle's 8th graders last year. Very formidable. Very formidable. I remember last year Seattle, they pushed a ticket with all three teams. So that's definitely a matchup that's booming. Like I said, I don't want to take anything away from Rhode Island, but that second matchup, potentially with Seattle, that's going to be a real barn burner.
Coach driving through a difficult call zone on me there. I hope you can hear me now, Coach. I'll get you out of here on this. Now, you all, like I said, are to many the favorites, not only to advance beyond Rhode Island, not only to advance beyond Seattle, but to win this whole entire thing. Do you believe that that places added pressure on your student athletes? That's part one. And then part two is, can this team, does this team, will this team, can Dade win it all?
I have a lot of faith in our ability of our guys, but I don't want to put that kind of pressure on them and the coaches. We're not going to put that kind of pressure on them. We're going to take this one match at a time. Because the thing is, in this tournament, on any given day, you can get taken in. So we're going to look past Rhode Island. We got our focus and our sight set squarely on Rhode Island. If we're lucky enough to make it past them, whoever else is on our plate, we're going to have to deal with them.
Excellent answer, Coach. Thank you very much. One step at a time. I wish you all well down in Naples.
Thanks for having me.
Coach Travis Thomas, 305 Dade. Take it to the house. I really can't get enough of that line. That's going to do it for today's show, though. Want to thank each and every one of our coaches for stopping by the review. Want to thank you for tuning in. Want to thank each and every one of our individuals that make the National Review possible. To all of our student athletes, to all of our parents, to all of our coaches, families, and friends. We wish you safe travels down to Naples, and most importantly, we encourage that you enjoy the moment. I am your official voice of youth and high school sports. See you down there. Happy birthday, Mom.